What's up, guys? Eli here. Louis, of course. I swear I don't do it intentionally. But anyway, I'm back. I got 10 more CDs for my collection to show you. I'm still on the letter B, so we'll work through that. Fuck, keep it short. Here we go. I have, first one, we got Blood Duster, straight out of Northcote, or however that's pronounced, from Relapse Records. I've had this for years. This is the repressing, I think, of... I want to say their first album. I've been saying, like, in a bunch of my past videos, like, I'm going to start doing research and saying shit accurately. And I don't ever do that. So I think it's a repressing of their first album. Maybe it's their second album. I don't know. Maybe if you give a shit, you'll go look into it. Anyways, Australian grindcore, death grind, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I like a lot of Australian bands. Not a big grind guy. I've always liked Blood Duster, though. I think they're a cool band. Their sense of humor. And if you just watch the dudes, look them up on YouTube. They're off their fucking rockers. They're awesome. Sorry. Next, we have another Blood Duster album. This is one of their newer ones, kind of newer. I think it's 8 or 10 years old. Self-titled album. This album is a blast. This is actually my favorite Blood Duster album. What can I say? It's just kind of like it's Blood Duster, type death grind, but with like hints of just like AC/DC type rock and roll injected into it. It's catchy as fuck. It's memorable. This album is a blast. Recommended. Season of Mist. Go get this one. Alright. I only have one album from this band. I wouldn't mind getting more. Got Blood Freak. Mindscraper. Look at that cover art. Very, very 80s. Kind of Impetigo inspired stuff. Very cool. I dig this album. This is from, Willow Tip. I dig this album a lot. It's got, what can I say about it? I mean, it's just kind of, very gory stuff, as you can see. Check that out. Boom. I think they're, I want to say from Portland, but anyways. Death metal, kind of a grinding death metal. I guess you could kind of a gore grindy death metal. I don't know. Go listen to them. Definitely, Impetigo inspired, but not quite as raw and simplistic. A little bit more, modern gore grindy, but fun stuff. At least check out the intro. I dig the intro. Psychoplasmatics. I don't know how to pronounce that. The intro is just fun. Just a bunch of like 70s B movie music, and I don't know. It's very cool. It's not even a song, just an intro. I love it. It's funny. Yeah. All right. Here's a band that everyone is talking about right now, and I gotta say, I don't know. I really can't argue with the hype. Got Blood Incantation. This is their debut EP, Interdimensional Extinction. I believe you can still get this from Dark Descent. I actually saw this band live, oddly enough. Kind of a funny story about that. But yeah, I saw them live and just picked it up from them in person. I'll tell that story actually really quick. It was really weird. I'm from a really small town in northern Idaho. I was literally... it's kind of a touristy town. It sucks. I was laying in bed. Literally, I had just gone to bed. It was like 10:30 one night, and I get this text from my buddy Devin. He's like, "You going to watch Blood Incantation?" And I'm like, "Fuck, are you talking about? From the Colorado Blood Incantation?" He's like, "Yeah." And I fucking literally I jumped out of bed, put clothes on, got down there as fast as I could. I got there luckily before they started playing, and they literally were just. I guess they were. I think they were on tour or something. I think they were on tour. So, and this wasn't a scheduled date. They were literally kind of passing through. And there is a guy, his name is Noah Coleman. He's actually the owner of Saul E. Neve Records, really cool tape label. A lot of you guys know about it. Anyway, he has moved here. He's really good friends with the Blood Incantation guys. And I guess he arranged it. He was just like, "Hey, you guys are passing through. Why don't you stop by and play a show?" And they played like literally in the back of a bar, like a stock room. It was crazy. Like you could tell people just kind of push shit aside. It was literally probably the size of most people's living rooms, I'd say, if that. It was awesome. There was probably 40, 50 people there. It was just, I mean, the whole room was full. It was hot as fuck. Yeah, I had no idea they were coming. Like I said, it wasn't a scheduled show. I think it might have been planned a couple days prior. I don't know. It was awesome. It was free. They didn't charge anything. So I bought some merch and stuff, but yeah, cool. So anyway, if you are still watching. We have Starspawn, their debut full length. Like I said, once again, tons of hype. This album made most people's lists. Anyone from random YouTubers to a lot of people that I know on Facebook that are in established metal bands. This album went over very well for a lot of people, and I've only listened to it once because I'm so fucking slow. I've probably had it. I've had it since last year, a while after it came out, but still late last year. But only one listen, and I thought it was pretty fucking cool. I need to give it more listens, and I'm actually stoked for that. Like I said, a lot of the times when bands get that kind of hype, not to try to sound like an elitist tool, but sometimes that just makes me not really want to listen. And honestly, what I usually do with bands that get kind of an annoying amount of hype, I usually wait till the hype dies down before I listen. So I might be a year behind, but I feel like the hype, like if I listen to an album at the height of its hype, I feel like that might ruin it for me, and I'd rather listen to it without distraction. So it's kind of what I did with Blood Incantation, and like I said, I have no complaints. They are fucking awesome. I think they're going to do, as long as they stay together, they're young guys, but I think they'll do good things in the future. I think if they stay together, I think they can bring us a number of good albums, especially if they progress and get better, as a band should. That is only their first album, so who knows what they have planned. Could be great, could be awesome. Anyways, more than you cared to hear. Next up, Blood Ritual from Seattle area, somewhere around there. Really cool death metal band. Quite underrated, I might say. This is their second and, I believe, final album. I don't think they're together. If they are together, they haven't done shit in forever. This is Black Grimoire. You can get this still from Moribund Records. Blood Ritual, I don't hear that many people talk about them. I got a couple buddies that like them, and that's about all I really know. Yeah, what can I say about Blood Ritual? They got 2 albums. This is their second one. I feel like I haven't heard their first one in years. I feel like their first album was more of a straightforward death metal. This one is, I think, a little more darker and almost veering towards Black Death type of a sound. I feel like this one is a little bit better, but fucking awesome album. Go listen to Blood Ritual. Come on, do it. They need more fans. All right, next, Ukrainian black metal, Blood of Kingu. This is their second or third album. So horrible. Sun in the House of the Scorpion. Candlelight. I was going to say Season of Mist. Candlelight Records. Yeah, what can I say? Blood of Kingu. If I'm correct, and this is their second album, I was kind of disappointed compared to their, comparing it to their first album. I thought their first album was really cool. And this one it was a little bit different, had kind of a different sound. I'm not saying it's bad, but I never liked it as much as their first album. Like I said, Ukrainian black metal. What's his name? Roman something from like oh god, how do you pronounce this band? Druk, I think you guys call it. I never knew how to pronounce that. I think it's Druk. We all know them. Druk, Hate Forest, and 30 other Ukrainian bands. Dude's the man, obviously. He's put out some great shit, so Blood of Kingu. You like Ukrainian black metal, you probably already know it, but if not, go give a listen. Here's another cool one. I really like this album. I don't hear too many people talking about this band or album. Bloodstained Dusk. What's it called? Black Faith Inquisition via Moribund Records. You can still get this. Bloodstained Dusk, they are a black metal band. Get this, a black metal band from Alabama. And actually, once I looked into it, there are actually way more black metal bands from Alabama than I ever knew. And some of them are pretty good. I was actually shocked to discover that. This album has Pest from Gorgoroth on vocals. How they got him to join their little band from Alabama, I'll never fucking know. I'll never know. But how cool is that? This is their third album. I haven't heard shit from these guys lately since this album. This is 2008, so 10 years, 9 years. I don't know if they're still active. I think their second album is probably their best. Their second album is really fucking good. This album is basically, it's like symphonic black metal. They are very Emperor inspired. As a matter of fact, their first album literally sounds like somebody covering In the Nightside Eclipse. I fucking kid you not. It is the closest thing I've ever heard to In the Nightside Eclipse. So if you like In the Nightside Eclipse, I know I do. If you dig Emperor, you'll really like that first album. I don't know, I feel like their second and third album, they kind of, you know, they got their own sound. Their second album is killer. I wish I had it. But go check this out. Go check their second album out. Check all three out. Why not? We all have time. And I got two more. I have most of this band's albums. I'm only going to show two because that's my cutoff, and I got more that I'll show for the next video. But that is shit, and I clearly don't have them in order, but whatever. Who cares? Blue Oyster Cult, Tyranny and Mutation. This album is amazing. This is one of the best rock albums ever made. And a couple other albums I would say that about. This is one of my favorites. I'm not going to go into talking about Blue Oyster Cult. They've been around since the 70s or whatever. I don't know what I could possibly add that hasn't been said for 50 years. But yeah, next one up that I'm going to show, Blue Oyster Cult, Secret Treaties. Not my favorite Blue Oyster Cult album, but goddamn, it's got some good songs. Career of Evil, Harvester of Eyes. It's a good one. Actually, this is that's probably just me. I say it's not one of my favorites, but this album is most Blue Oyster Cult fanatics, people that have been listening to this band forever. I really only got into them like I want to say like 5 years ago. I never gave a shit about them. I grew up hearing, you know, their main singles like Don't Fear the Reaper and shit on classic rock radio, and while I thought that was a good song, I heard it so many times it's so overplayed. It's still a great song, but yeah, I had no interest in delving into this band until I it got to the point where I was like, well, I've heard just about every metal band ever. You know, I the last couple of years I've been kind of branching out, checking out some rock stuff, some stuff that I might have missed, and I've discovered a lot. So that's how I got into them. Amazing band. It's probably my favorite. Probably my favorite like classic rock band from the 70s type stuff. Really good. Yeah, top notch I think for that era. Anyways, that's 10 albums. I will be back in a couple more days or next week or whatever for 10 more. Thanks for watching and subscribing and talking to me and all that fun stuff. It's been a blast. I've talked to a lot of cool dudes on here now that I would have never talked to otherwise. It's been really fun. I've yet to have one troll. So, yeah, I haven't had anyone come in and call me a faggot or anything like that. So that's awesome because I see it in a lot of other people's. A lot of the more popular YouTubers they gotta put up with a lot of shit, and I don't ever want to do that. So I'm glad that, yeah. Anyways, thank you. I'll be back.